Welcome to Can Angels Fly, Tarot and More. My name is Nancy, and I'll begin this live study session and discussion in just a moment. I'm attempting to set up my live stream. This takes a few minutes. I ask you to please like, share, and if you haven't already subscribed to my channel. Once you have subscribed to my channel, I ask you to locate the notification bell on my homepage. Click on it so you'll be notified whenever I go live and or upload a video. Please be alerted that I'm going through, again, setting up my live stream. And for some reason, it's taking a little more time. Everything seems to be moving very, very slowly. So I can't rush the process. That most likely this live stream may be a little longer. Let's see. Okay, I can do a few more. Let's see what's going on here. Let's see. A few more. Parts to put in place. I think that's it. Let's see. All right, now how do I get to you? Okay, I can't do that. Okay. At this time, I'm performing a sound check. At this time, I'm performing a sound check. Completed. Okay. Once again, welcome to Can Angels Fly, Tarot and More. My name is Nancy, and this morning I'm here for early morning live study session, as well as just a general discussion. This live stream may be a little longer than normal, maybe, I don't know. I'm kind of playing it by ear. I'm also here to touch base with whomever, attends. But at this time, I invite you, whenever you're ready, whenever you're interested, to order your own personal tarot reading. In order to order your own personal tarot reading, all you have to do is contact me by email. My email is canangelsfly1@gmail.com. All the instructions that you need to order your own personal reading is below this video. At this time, I ask you to please like this video, like the content, to share my channel with others. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. Once you have subscribed to my channel, don't forget to go to my home page and click on the notification bell so you'll be notified whenever I go live and or upload a video. Good morning. Good morning. Now I got to see. I do have one more thing I want to add. No, that's not it. I really don't have any order to how I will be going, proceeding with this live stream. Just on here. Let's see. I think I'm all set. I think so. Let's see. Let's see what I want to talk about in this last thing. I have a lot of stuff that I've accumulated since the last time I went live. And one of the subjects that I've been exploring has me looking at next year. As you can see, I have on the screen astrological chart, and I'm using or visiting the website Planet Watcher, and I have in the date February 14th, 2022. And it's difficult for me to kind of remember why I jumped a whole year ahead when, working with astrology. I can't remember what prompted me. But when I went ahead and made the leap to the year of 2022, and I interpreted the chart that you see before you, the only difference between the chart that I interpreted in my private time versus what you're seeing is the time. I actually used the time 12 p.m. on the nose. And for some reason, something I might be doing wrong today, I can't make that fine adjustment to get it to 12 p.m., which is midday. So this actual astrological chart is maybe 14 minutes behind, which doesn't make a great difference. I don't think it really makes a considerable difference. So I just have it here so you can see. And so I want to talk about what this chart is referring to. This chart is suggesting that come February 14th or mid-February of next year, 2022, there's going to be the activation of a social movement. Now, this particular social movement was, let me see if I can turn this off real quick. Presented to you. Oh gosh, I got it locked. It was presented to you when I did this 6-hour live stream. As you may be able to see, The title of the 6-hour live stream is So What's Now? A look at the astrological messages. And it again is 6 hours long. So what I included with this message, after the message was a whole line of different timestamps. I was attempting to make it easier, to view. 6 hours is a long time to listen to anybody ramble on and on and on about different subject matters. But what you can focus on, if you don't have time to watch the whole 6-hour video, is this very last timestamp in which I refer the viewer to a particular film series. And it says movie referral, Atlas Shrugged, what's this, Shrugged, Who is John Galt, part 1, 2, and 3. I suggest that if you don't have time to watch, again, the 6-hour video, to go watch that movie, the series. It's 3 parts, to get an understanding about what will take place February of 2022. Now, for the record, I can't say that the contents of that movie is going to play out exactly in our real world. I hope not. I really hope not. But it is possible. Now, I published this 6-hour video, as you can see, back in 2020 on November 13th. That's when I published it, or had the live stream. And I realized that, and I have been realizing that I truly am following instructions. What do I mean by I'm following instructions? I'm contending that the astrological alignments have messages. It's just that you have to be able to decode the astrological alignments in order to extract the messages in them. And the messages are also often organized in a way that they first, when I say they, I'm talking about the astrological messages, offer you like a content list or a checklist, a program of a process that's going to take place. And I've mentioned this concept before in times past, at least since 2016. I know that I've talked about this program or this checklist or this content list that is associated with the astrological messages. And so once again, it's occurred once again. What has occurred? Well, this message here, the 6-hour long message, is the warning to prepare. Now, I don't think the warning is issued to the general populace, not to me and you, not to the laymen and the lay women. But the message has been sent out to the powers or those that will participate to know what time it is. Remember, it's a program. Like when you go to a church ceremony or a funeral or a wedding, they have a program about how the ceremony is going to progress. So the astrological energies are no different. They have this, again, this program to tell you how things are going to progress. So when I did this, the 6-hour live stream, in which I discussed a lot of, that's why I got all those timestamps. I talked about a lot of things, and they were all relative. But at that time, oh, here I go glitching. Let me stop. I stopped as soon as I saw the spooling. Yep, glitching again. Okay, I think I'm back on and running. So, what was I saying? Say they threw me off. I'm trying to see if it frees up again. Um, what was I saying? I was talking about it's a lot of things. Hold on. It's a lot of things I see that the powers do not want said. It's unfortunate that the populace, the general populace, and intelligence is just gonna stop my video altogether, huh? The general populace intellect is in arrested development. I remember when I did a live this couple of years ago, the astrological energies covered the subject matter of the general populace intellect being what was the word term I just used? Uh, Not retarded, but the two. Arrested development. Let me write that down. That might be proved to be important. Arrested development. It talked about the astrological entities during that time period in which I covered it. And I'm going to tell y'all the truth. You know, if you follow me, you know I'm an amateur astrologer. And so I don't have anybody to fact check me or to reproof me or correct me. I have to lean upon my own understanding and level of comprehension and awareness. So I'm saying that because if I was ever wrong, I had nobody to correct me or chastise me or, to point out my flaws. But what has played the role of, the fact checker for me is that after a year or so, the same subject matters come back up. And that's when I realized, I said, okay, I am, at times I'm reading the program or the what do you call it, the content, the progression of the program, that kind of progression of the program checklist or something like that. I'll find a statement to sum that up. And then later on, it comes up, the astrological energies align and then foretells of a portion of faith. It has to do with a part of the message. Really. It's early in the morning. It's what, about 7, 8? Where is my thing? Oh, it's 8:30 already. Oh, okay. Been up since 4. Been trying to figure out how to deliver this message for days. And I haven't figured it out, so I'm just playing it by ear. I assume that I will only be on here. I'm saying that now because it's glitching too much. I saw that it has glitched. My live stream has glitched 5 or 6 times major. So I know it's most likely going to have a negative effect on the final outcome. So I'm not going to frustrate myself. I'm free. I'm free now. I don't have a house full of people. They're not running in and out. I ain't got the grandbabies. That's number 6. Number 6 glitch. Major. So I can come back all day long through the whole day. It's a Sunday. Come back over and over again. YouTube. So I was talking about, well, I'm getting confused because they keep glitching me, but I was talking about how a part of the program a few years ago was, it talked about how the populace at that well, not at that particular time, but it was on the log, on the list, on the docket to say, hey, humanity, laymen and women, y'all need to, here it goes. Glitch number 7. So, y'all need to increase y'all intellectual capacities. And it also talked about the program during that time. It talked about social whatever, not social, it talked about, good morning, how are you? I'm just kind of sitting here now because um, my screen shows that it's frozen. It just became unfrozen. That was glitch number 8. It almost went to glitch number 9 and stopped immediately. So okay, I'm gonna keep rolling. And so this program a few years ago talked about, or the list, the checklist, um, talked, or a directory, whatever. It's not directory. I guess it could be a directory too, because it was a content of what should be focused on. Again, I don't think this directory or this program is for the general populace. It's for the people, the key players, the powers that are involved at this point in time in the history of humanity and advance in the world. And I don't think it was for the general populace. I do believe that something that is ethereal has had an interest in waking humanity up. That's the laymen and women like me and you, waking us up. And so it has selected, down through the years, certain people to have a particular type of lifestyle that would, uh, herd them or manipulate them, a person like myself, to find this path, learn this craft, and to be able to execute the craft sufficiently or effectively enough to get an understanding about what's taking place. And so at one point in time, a few years ago, as I keep saying over and over again, there was the announcement of the program that had to do with humanity's intellect. At the time, I was like, ugh, what am I doing talking about people's intellect? I'm up here live and in these videos calling people morons and dumb and suffering from arrested intellectual development. And I was saying to the audience then, I'm not saying it, it's saying it in the stars. Now it makes sense. And I say it makes sense because in last year, it started talking about how the powers were moving. Now that they had a superior consciousness and awareness and intellect and know-how to manipulate the people, and how the people never took the opportunity that was offered to them to enhance their intellect and to stimulate their consciousness and awareness. And it was so interesting to me that at that time it was literally calling a portion of the population morons. These powers were saying these people are, or these beings are morons. Not me. It was in the stars. This was what was being communicated. And also in the stars, again, it was communicating that, hey, there is a portion of the population that has been socially engineered. I talked about social engineering. And they have been socially engineered and to suffer from an arrested intellectual development. And so at the time, I'm sensing that it's a checklist or a log or a program that is announced and then being followed stage by stage or step by step. Fast forward to today, it's happening again. I see it clearly. And now I have a timeline. That's why I keep going over and over it again. Again, this is a live study session. So I'm trying to gain clarity for myself, not just for y'all, but for myself, organizing my thoughts. So it has happened again, and I have dates now that I can point out. I could go back in the past and point those dates out, but why I got to go back there when I got it right here at hand? So what's happening right here at hand? Again, I refer you to this video that I think is to the right of me, something like that. I think, I don't know, I can't see myself. And it's about what's now. And I do believe this video followed the presidential election, I think. I'm not quite sure. But as you can see, it's done November 13th. And in this video, it's talking about, and I refer you right now again to the movie, Who is John Galt? part 1, 2, and 3. Watch it if you can't watch this 6-hour video. Matter of fact, watch the 6-hour video and the movie that has 3 parts. And the movie's here on YouTube too. So you can easily access it. It was free last time I viewed it. So this live stream that is to the right of me, as well as the movie, talks about this time period in which the creme de la creme. Glitch number 9. Okay. The creme de la creme of the world society withdraws themselves as well as their abilities or their capabilities or their area of expertise from the world at large. They leave the majority of the world's population to their own devices, their own vices. How does that look in the real world? Well, surgeons refusing to perform surgery. Glitch number 10. Or politicians unwilling to represent the masses, or I don't know, teachers unwilling to educate those they do not deem able to comprehend on the level in which they are, you know, wanting to advance their students. Different things like that. Example. Those are just different examples, and that's a complicated area to talk about in detail. I would have to do a whole separate video. Glitch number 12. That whole video, a video to cover that type of content would be 6 hours plus. And the reason why it would be 6 hours plus is because there are so many different academic fields, or back to planetary. I guess I'm back on. Live stream. It said live stream was offline, so I don't know how long that was, but that would be, oh, it started a whole new stream. Oh, ain't that something? A whole entire new stream with okay. Let's glitch number 14. I don't know if it's straightened out or not. This glitch number 14. It seems like it started a whole new live. I'm refreshing my other. Okay. I'm gonna shut this down. Let's see if I can access. I've accessed the page. So it appears to me, from my perspective, that they stopped the first part of the live stream and got rid of it. That, who knows? I don't know. Because I don't see it in my video content. The first half. All it's showing now is a 2-minute mark. It's well past 2 minutes. And the first 10 minutes, I was talking about, I was showing my YouTube page, which I realized that I used to could get here on, what is this, Split X, and actually have my page active and browse my page with you, ladies and gentlemen. But today, when I attempted to do it, it did not, when I put the my web page in, or YouTube in, it didn't pull up my active YouTube account. It told me to sign in. So I tried to sign in, and I could not. It would not let me sign in, which means I could not, or was not permitted to, pull up and navigate my YouTube page live. So what I did, I just put in the actual YouTube page of the video that I was showing, which is What's Now, the video I did, and I think it was March, was that March 23rd or something like that of last year, 2020, in which I talk about phase that we're about to go through. Uh, I don't believe that the earlier part of this live stream exists. It seems like they got rid of it. This is the 13th glitch. A matter of fact, I got to get back to the page so I can see if I'm glitching or not. The 13th glitch seemed to wipe all the earlier part of my live stream away. And so in the first part, because I don't think it exists, is I was saying, hey, these astrological alignments, some of what it includes is a program of content of events to occur. Glitch number 14. Every time I say that, content of steps to occur. And when I did that 6-hour live stream called "So What's Now" back in November 20, back on November 23rd, 2020, I talked about how it foretold of a time period coming in which the powers or the intellectually savvy, or those who are expert in a particular field or area or branch of knowledge, may very well withdraw their contribution from humanity, and or begin to act out. And in that video, the one I'm referring to from the past, talked about how a lot of these people, these experts in quotes, were suffering for cognitive dissonance for years. That is to say that due to our discrimination laws, they couldn't deny the general populace their service or expertise as long as the general populace adhered to the established requirements to use their services. An example of what I mean is, like, if you paid your insurance and you had an HMO and your insurance was active, they had to care for you. Even if they didn't like you due to some bias, race, creed, color, whatever, weight, whatever, they couldn't discriminate against you. Otherwise, their license would be in jeopardy. Okay, so they were suffering from cognitive dissonance because they believed in their minds that they did not have to service those that they were biased to. It would never be put in words like that, but that's what they believed, but were forced to, and so they had to try to rectify all these years doing so. And the astrological energies during that time on November 23rd, it says, the program says, hey, these particular type of people were tired of that mess and they weren't going to do it anymore. Shortly after, the astrological energies let us know that there was a would be uh, what do you call it, what is a state, a head of state that would be put in place that would validate their concerns. And we know who that head of state is now, and how that head of state would make sure that these people did not have to do partake in activities they don't believe in. And so in February of 2022, the astrological alignment that you're looking at right now talks about that time period in which these people, these quote unquote experts, begin to act out and withdraw their contribution from humanity. And just, again, I refer you to the movie Who is John Galt? Was it Galt? It's in the timestamps below the video. Now what's that I published on November 23rd, 2020. Go watch that 3-part movie and you'll understand what I'm talking about. In the earlier part of this live, the part that I think was cut out and trashed, by YouTube and whatever its system does, I was talking in detail, referring to that movie and saying, I hope it doesn't go to the extremity that in the movie it did. And the reason why I hope not is because the society fell apart without their contribution. The food distribution fell apart. Transportation fell apart. All businesses that people would go to work to fell apart. Everything fell apart once these powers or these quote unquote experts again pulled their contributions from humanity and all of their know-how, their genius, their expertise. So anywho, it seems to me, prepare that in this time next year, we will see an alarming rate of these experts acting out. Again, you got to watch these people. They will be acting out. So when I say acting out, what do I mean? I mean, hey, if they really don't want to work on you, they may do certain activities that harm you. And so you're really going to have to take great notes. You're going to have to have your people with you whenever hello, she's one of many. And so be warned that try to prepare the best you can. I know that the structure of our world has made it very difficult to save money, to have any level of stability in order to even move forward and try to uh, secure yourself, proof yourself as far as, having extra food. You don't have to retract your statement. Feel free to share. And thank you for coming here to Can Angels Fly, Tarot and more, and sharing. But we got to try to do better. Try to mend, um, division between family members and in the community. Because let me tell you, what I don't like is how all of these activities that are taking place that I'm seeing being foretold in the stars and coming into being are coming into our reality in such a covert manner. It's so covert. And one reason it's convert is that we're all having our own unique perspectives, and we don't believe each other when we um, share, and we also forget really quick. And when I say forget really quick, this is again just a loose study session, so there's no order. I'm just talking. You have to ride the wave while I'm doing it, and take from it what you can take from it. But a few years back, a person a man that worked for the CDC, glitch number 14. My head was turned. He came up missing first, and then was found, I think, face down in a fountain or something like that. But it was something that he was trying to say that he wasn't allowed to say. We soon forgot. So those kind of things are happening over and over and over again. That people try to whistle blow is what it's called. Whistle blow or testify to what they have witnessed and or experienced from their very unique perspective. And most times we don't believe them and we dismiss them. That was something else that was referred to in the astrological alignments in times past that I read, where it talked about the divide that exists in humanity. And the divide, I did a video, and I understand now why YouTube was adamant in making sure that my channel doesn't grow, because I have followed instructions and revealed my findings step by step, just like those stars. Um, you know, those stars have the plan organized. Uh, Records. The stars are a recording of some type. I told y'all I'm all over the place. At times I thought it was God, and I still think it was God or something um, intangible that delivers messages or has encoded messages in the stars. But then there is the aspect where it seems like man is talking. And I personally do not believe that a human person has the power or the intellectual capacity to use the stars as an encoding system on an advanced level in which it has been done. So once again, I'm led to believe there is some extraterrestrial entity or species that exists that is more intellectually advanced than ourselves. And that species, has the capability of using the stars to encode messages. And this message can be read by any of them of that species because they have sharing the same language. Just like people that speak English sharing the same language, Chinese sharing the same language. They have the stars and maybe like that whole encoding system as their primary language. So it's nothing to them to be able to look up the alignment and say, oh, this is what it means. And all that species across the world gets the message at the same time. They get the program that about what's going to take place. And they know what step is going to be executed next. And then, what do you call it? Consecutively. What's the word? Consecutively. Sequence, the sequence of occurrences that will take place. They is normal to them, where it's not to us. And I do believe again there is some intangible entity. I don't know if it's one of their own that was a betrayer or something like that. That was like, ooh, humanity is getting it up the wazoo. Let me enlighten some of these beings. Let me teach some of these beings. Let me coerce them into learning our language because they getting bamboozled and they're being led to slavery and then mass extinction once the powers or the this intellectual superior species has achieved their agenda. I'm all over the place. I know it. And I see you wrote something. I got to put my glasses on to see BF. So I'm coming back to the chat in a moment. But when I get going, I get going. And when I word my findings like that, it leads me to think about some stories I heard about from other creators here on YouTube, talking about the Anunnaki or something like that. I never jumped off into the Anunnaki or however you pronounce it story, um, or the theory of their existence and things like that. But it seems to be something like that. And it's okay with me. It's okay with me. It's okay with me if that story of the Anunnaki is true. And I say that because what I've realized, especially over the last 5 to 6 years since I've been on YouTube and really been sharing and researching more than ever and able to record my findings and go back and view them, is that all of these stories and folklores and religion, everything that humanity has been taught, exposed to, all has some truth. It was just the messages were just delivered to us in a way that what led us to be religious rather than be proactive, knowledgeable and proactive. It led us to be caught up in debates about various theories and things like that, rather than understanding or coming to understand the primary truth that these messages embody. Anywho, so anyway, it talks about what is talked about. These stars have talked about the divide the divides multiple that have been created in humanity, and how the various social engineering tactics that have been used to confuse the people, the masses in general, in order to what? Keep us from being able to be aware of this covert operation that's taking place. And again, I think the covert operation is taking place by intellectually superior species. I know it sounds weird, but that's what my findings have led me to believe. And in the last couple of weeks, with all the information I've accumulated, another avalanche of information I've accumulated and been trying to, go through, um, it reveals that same storyline once again. The avalanche of information. Man, so much. I did a live stream, talked about how I was overwhelmed with all the information that um, I have, been exposed to or scraped up or found. And this is no different. I have so much information that it is overwhelming. I can't say it's impossible. It's just overwhelming for me to organize it and to deliver the messages, especially under the criteria or within the criteria that's acceptable here on YouTube. The acceptable criteria here on YouTube is to make a video in under 15 minutes, maximum an hour, and there's no way I can. There's no way I can. And so that leads me to be frustrated, tongue-tied. I sit here for hours trying to crush the information, and I can't do it. And so, again, it's overwhelming to me. But I'm telling y'all, warning, even, that humanity, not everybody here on this earth is human, but humanity, we are in danger. And I'm not trying to scare you. I'm just trying to make you be aware. That's a whole nother thing. Um, you say, I understand everything that you're talking about. Well, thank you very much, BF. But humanity is in danger. And we're in danger because, number one, most of us don't even have time to study even to the extent that I do. And I know I'm just a basic person. I'm not a professional or a professor or, not in the official sense that is acceptable in this world. I will be looked at as just a curious person. And I don't know how to say, I'm trying to talk about how humanity is in danger of being enslaved once again, and also for the extinction of our species to occur, to give way to a upgraded species of ourselves. And I'm not sure if we want that to occur. I know I'm probably not clear because, again, I'm just overwhelmed. I do want to study a little bit on here, but I don't plan to be on here very long. At first I did, but now I don't think so. But what am I talking about when I say our species will be made extinct in the form that we know it and replaced by, and it sounds so conspiratorial, and that's what is allowing us to not, which is leading us to not take what we're learning serious. It's conspiratorial. It sounds conspiratorial. But, like, I'm going to give you an example. We know, most of us know, that technology is advancing, and the powers have created what is synthetics or syntheticas or AI, Sophias, and different things like that. These what do you call it? Fiber optic beams, I don't know what they're called, are created for the purpose of literally being, their goal is for these synthetic beings to be able to embody the human consciousness. And it is shown, this is another thing that leads people not to take this stuff seriously. It's in the movies. So I'm going to move forward after I say this because I want to talk about in the movies. It's in the movies. And the most recent movie that I can recall was called, what's the name of the movie? Re-sleeved or something, I think like that. I think it was called Re-sleeved, where a person's consciousness can be put in a new vessel. You know, if the vessel is damaged beyond repair, just put re-sleeved to a new body or new synthetic body or cloned body. But the ultimate goal is to actually be able to put the human consciousness into a android, I guess I can use that term, type of vessel that is enduring. Enduring meaning it won't get sick, you know. And so that means your consciousness will be stuck in the android figure or form for an extended amount of time and made to be a slave. Do you get what I'm saying? And again, it sounds what? Conspiratorial. And it also sounds made up because it's what? Been presented to us in the movies. In this video, I do want to talk about, before I end it, I want to talk about predictive programming. Now, I have been going through it over the last week trying to figure out how to deliver this message. And most likely it's in vain, but I'm going to try. I want to talk about predictive programming. How do I talk about it? I want to go back down memory lane in order to try to convey this topic, to articulate this topic, to discuss this topic, to explore this topic. And I want to talk about from the late 1800s up into current, motion pictures were created. I don't know how to do this. I don't. Because it has so many different areas, aspects of our life. Anywho, since in the 1800s, that's when the first motion picture was made. Up into current. Now we got 3D films. And I bring up cinema as just as an example, an area to focus on. Because every time somebody has made a film, the subject matter that they explore varies. We have the genres of horror. We have the genres of sci-fi and drama and whatever else. I knew my phone was going to ring. It is 8 o'clock in the morning. Ain't nobody I talk to at 8 o'clock in the morning. Hello? Answer the video. I didn't hear it. I'm live. I decided to go live because I didn't think I was going to be interrupted. But I said somebody going to call me. Huh? The baby. Oh, he was hungry. I called y'all last night to make sure y'all made it in. About 9 o'clock, you didn't answer. Oh, so y'all went right home and went to sleep? Who this baby? Send me a picture of him. I'm going to look at it. Make a video recording and send it to me. When I get off this live, I'm going to look at it. Okay, bye-bye. See the grandbaby calling me early in the morning. Okay. What was I talking about? Cinema. And the subject matters that are covered in these in cinema. I'm going to be all over the place. I'm going to just say everything that comes to my mind because I don't know how to put it in order. But I would actually like to go somewhere with this and explore this subject matter. And it is what? How do you sustain yourself? I mean, make money to buy into the natural resources that you need to sustain your life and enhance your life during the time period you here. If you are a power, if you are one of those experts. What do you do? And you know, you that are the expert, you know, that there's an agenda. You also know that the agenda that exists has spanned over, and will span over thousands of years. And the complication here is that any given person, namely an expert, a cinematographer, uh, anybody that's a power, an expert, are here for a maximum of 100 years. In your time period, how do you earn money? I don't even know how to talk about it. Then maybe I can do it like this. I've been trying to figure this out, y'all, for about 2 weeks now, literally, and I cannot. Hypothetically, case scenario, there is a more intellectually savvy species that exists. That whole species cohabitates here on our earth. We don't know them or we can't recognize them because their sleeve, their physical vessel, look similar to ours. They're just human. But in actuality, they're a whole different species. So this species is aware that there is a ultimate agenda. But this agenda, the process of the whole agenda, was going to take over 2,000 years. They're aware of that. They're also aware, I don't know how long this species, hypothetical species, lives, but they know that the humans that occupy this earth, we top out at 100, 120. So they themselves cannot live longer than 100 and 120 years before they have to change their sleep. This is the best way I can say it. Yes, it sounds just like the movies. Ride the wave with me, if you will. So, these powers, or this, let me figure out a name to call them. One term. What can I use? Species. Whenever I say the term species, and write it down. Let me use this term species. Species means these superior intellectual beings. Most of these superior intellectual beings, what? One of their qualities is their intellect is superior to humans. Species. I call them species. I can't call them extraterrestrial because they cohabitate on this earth. They're just this other species. The supreme species. Okay, maybe call them SS, supreme species. This supreme species knows that they are on a mission to fulfill an agenda. The agenda will take thousands of years. They also know that they set up a system. We call it government, or bureaucracy. I have been writing for 2 weeks, 2 notebooks, and I can't organize it. We don't know this. Just the supreme species knows this. So they have to abide by and play by the rules in which they're trying to govern this realm by. So what? They can't live no more than 100, 120 years. Otherwise, they throw the suspicion flag on. They cannot look like they naturally look. They have to have the same sleeve as the natives of this planet, which are humans. They have to have a same sleep. These are things that they are required to do in order to fulfill their agenda. This superior species know that they have to be in positions of power, and so that's what they do. They are in politics. They're over every social construct, etc., etc. They also know that they have to manage humanity. True humans have to manage them. They also know that they need assistance, and that's what I say goes back to that Anaki story or something like that. Um, they also need the assistance of the native or indigenous species of this planet to help them fulfill their agenda. So they have to organize the social constructs that are necessary to manage the native species or the indigenous. See, this is another thing I got to do. I got to create the terminology and stay consistent with the terminology. Indigenous species of the planet, and the planet is Earth. Then we have the superior species, whomever they may be, and they have a superior intellect. Superior intellect, they have a longer lifespan. And I can tell you how I got to they have a longer lifespan. Let me try to explain that. I'm all over the place. I subscribe to a channel here on YouTube called, what's the name of the channel? Hollywood Graveyards or something like that. Dang it, I can't use that one. Need to open up another page. I think it's called Hollywood Graveyards. Let me check this. Hollywood Graveyards. Gosh dang it, how do I go here? Gotta go to my page. Oh, God, Jesus Lord. I'm gonna tell y'all I can't move forward in my research about what is to take place until I get this cleared up. It wouldn't make any sense to do so. Oh, no. How do I get to? Oh, my goodness. Oh, I just did something wrong, I think. Oh, no, I don't think I did now. Library subscriptions, I think. Oh, my gosh. I have to expand this page out. It makes it look funny to me. Okay. Oh, no. Hopefully y'all don't hear this video. I clicked on the video back. Okay. It's called what am I talking about? Yeah, it's called Hollywood Graveyards. Hollywood Graveyards is a site or page here on YouTube. And what the content creator does is they explore and visit all the stars that have existed graveyards. And they give you a brief history of their contribution to the world. You know, like Walt Disney, and they go visit Walt Disney's burial site, or talk about Walt Disney was cremated, and you know who he came from, his successors, his plan. They give all that kind of information. Okay, I know it seems weird. Everything is relative. Certain things we're just afraid to look at. And we all ain't built for this, I guess. Let me try to shrink this board up, y'all. It's a mess. So this is a study session, but it's more of a study session in order to organize my thoughts. This astrological wheel was one of the primary tools that I did some earlier research on, or decoding and then some relative research. But I won't go through that with you because this just in decoding this chart here could take hours. So I'm not doing that today. Not doing that today. So yes, this is a study session, a discussion session. Feel free to comment. Okay, where was I? Where am I at? So the reason why I'm talking about Hollywood Graveyard is because when I watch Hollywood Graveyard, and I also told you that I'm also subscribed to Cataline, what her name is. Oh gosh. Ask a Mortician. Ask a Mortician. She also does some historical what do you call it? Content on famous people. But it talks about these people's contribution again in the world at the time they were here. And what I realized is a lot of these people, even before medicine got really advanced, lived considerably longer than your stereotypical person. These people lived up in their 90s, 100, up to 100 years old. And then they what? They went ahead and went on out of here. I did a video a couple of years ago, and I talked about the changing of the guards. I see, as of now, it's becoming a big topic here on YouTube. It's the changing of the guards. It is the end of the reign of the older generation, like Queen Elizabeth and things like that. You know, their time is up. Her time is up. Because what? In this world, at least from the church, I learned that the human vessel only lasts upwards of 120 years. Now, so her time is almost up. Most people don't make it to 120 years. You know, a few just basic people make it up over 100. A few, but not the majority. But usually, those that have, they say, a considerable wealth and prosperity in their life, or hold a title, usually live much longer, much longer. And we people in general think that is because, and it most likely is due to, or at least we have that excuse to say, well, these people can access the best care of their time, medical care and treatment and different things like that. They eat the best food, different things like that, which is true. I'm quite sure. But my point is saying that if this superior species, if one of their qualities is that they have a longer lifespan than humans, then they are free to live out upwards of that 120 years. Even if as a species, they can live way longer than that. Way longer than that. But being a part or involved with humanity, who they know can't live over 120 years, they themselves have to like make it look like they are on the same time frame, like lifespan as ourselves. I don't know if I'm making that make sense. So they fake their death. We call it fake their death in Hollywood. You know, what was I talking about? So I want to talk about some of these people that area of expertise. I don't even know how to do this because it's all dynamics. I'm trying to focus on one area, and I want to talk about people that like write books and what they call it, media, entertainment and media. I want to talk about people that write books, that make movies. That's what I want to talk about relative to predictive programming and having to fit within the criteria that they're imposing upon human beings. Another criteria that they impose upon human beings is this fake structure of money. And then, because we feel like we need money, then we have to have a job. So, the mundane men and women, we take whatever jobs we can get. We work for the system. We work for the Burger King, the McDonald's, the CVS, or whatever we can get, the markets, whatever. But the powers, these superior species, they don't work for McDonald's. They don't work for these different little businesses and organizations. No, they run kingdoms. Have you noticed? I really don't know how to do this one. Have you noticed that throughout history, somehow, some way, there's a particular grouping of people that have always existed, that always was able to make money. We consider them entrepreneurs, or what is the word? Entrepreneurials. They're very creative. The creative spirit. Like, oh, they got to be so creative. I give you an example. I know I'm all over the place. I probably got y'all confused as hell. I'm not confused. I'm overwhelmed. It's a difference. Example. Steven Spielberg. I've been using him a lot. His creativity off the chart. I should have looked up some other very popular and successful authors. Or I don't even know what the people are called. I don't even know what Steven Spielberg is considered in creating movies and things like that. And the subject matters that these creators cover. I want to go back in time with this. I want to talk about recent times. When I'm talking about entertainment, media, cinema, and the subject matters that they depict or convey. Where do they come up with these subject matters that's always so successful? I don't even know how to put it. I'm going to keep coming back to this till I get it right. I know, and I've talked about it in most recent live streams, past live streams, that many times some of these creators tap into other dimensions. I talked about the dimension of hell and different things like that. And I said there's no way you can come back and not be impacted by your visits to these other dimensions or realms like hell. It stick with you. Stick with you. It's been several years since I've been to hell. It stick with you. Anywho, going to these realms, I'm trying to talk about something, y'all. And it still has to do with media, entertainment, and all that. And predictive programming. I just don't know how to do it. When a person goes to these different realms, we're going to say via the dream realm, and they can see everything crystal clear. We call it, what, lucid dreaming. A person is able to come back to this realm or awaken and can literally log or record everything they saw, they experienced, they witnessed, they interacted with, feelings, colors, etc., including the beings. And there have been some creative people, I'll say that, throughout the history of humanity since cinema began in the late 1800s. I think I'll be wanting to be so factual, but I can't be factual. I kind of gotta just say it without being factual and try to clean everything up. And I said, well, let me stop. Why did I just say what I said about me wanting to be factual? Because in the late 1800s, that's when the cinema was first developed. So it wasn't to the advanced state, that it is today. It was developed. It was an advancement in technology, and it continued to be enhanced. That's the kind of clarity I want to offer you every single time I say something, and I can't. So that's one of the complexities that I deal with when I'm delivering a message. So I'll just say cinema since the 1800s. And so some of these people, I want to say the Steven Spielberg, but something is telling me that I'm saying the wrong person. Who is the person known to be over the darkest recessions of the psyche and horror? The darkest recessions of psyche and horror. I stopped. Glitch number 14 or 15. I don't know. I lost track. That person, as an example. I know. I don't know if you know or not, or have any awareness. They visited other realms, and they witnessed, participated, experienced other realms and the entities there, etc., and they came back and they wrote down everything they experienced, and they created films about it. Very successful. Made them very wealthy in this realm, and allowed them to sustain a life in the highest of quality over the period that they exist in this realm. And that kind of dynamic happens over and over again across every genre, whether it's politics, movie, food, etc., etc. I'm trying to go somewhere with this. And it's to what we talk about predictive program. I know it don't seem like it. So now I need to go back and talk about the astrological alignments, or astrology, or the astrological messages. Trying to deal with past, present, and future. In the past, I do believe that the general populace had no comprehension of the encoded messages in the stars. Not the general populace, but there were some that did. And it is possible that those experts during that time that knew of the messages that were encoded in the stars and could decode them were a part of that superior species that I speak of. But the general populace didn't know. And the general populace most likely was made up of real indigenous humans, natives to this planet. They didn't know. So, over time, this superior species was able to, even use the messages that were encoded in the stars, extract what the program said, whatever the message was about, and used it for multiple purposes. First purpose was for themselves to be informed about the next step in which, their species plan to progress toward their agenda. So they personally knew what was next. The next thing is, I had to use that profanity right there, use that information to create a genre, or use in a genre to make them some money to sustain their life and enhance their life while they're here, because they on a mission. So they still got to make a means or way to make money, because that's the bureaucracy that they created over humanity. So they're going to be at the top of the chain. So they take the messages that they've decoded out of their language, or the stars. Example is let me talk about this movie, going back to John, who was John Galt, Galt, the 3-part movie I'm talking about, I've been referring to. Well, who created it? I don't even know who made the movie, but we can use them as an example. Let's say, hypothetically, case scenario, the creator of that movie is one of the superior species. And that superior person or, entity, being, looked at the stars 30 years ago, 40 years ago, and saw the program, what was coming down the line step by step. They knew it for themselves. They knew what to prepare in their own personal life about what was going to happen on here on this earth. After they got it, they could either throw that information away or use it for another purpose. And that's what this being chose to do. Use it for another purpose once they got the information for themselves. Let me take this, use my creative spirit to create, use the genre of film, in entertainment, and create this movie that talks about this part or process to fulfilling my species agenda. And I'm going to put it out here in the world amongst the real humans, the indigenous humans of this planet. And they going to eat it up. They going to pay like they weigh to come see the movie. And I'm going to live my best life. When they give me the money that I done set up for them to have to earn. So they're going to set up, they're going to earn it. This is real. It's so deep. It's so real. It's not made up. That's what I would really like to convey. This is real. It's not made up. It's not pretend. It sounds like it. I know. I know. Let me talk about the indigenous people of this planet. Real live humans. We in this earth, often I have talked about in the past, how we have had to fight with this realm to survive it. And if it had not been for technological advancements and then changes in how we live in this world, like example, industrial revolution, then we would still be out here chopping, picking, fishing, and building. We wouldn't have time for folly. But we have technologically advanced. So we don't do the fishing, the hunting, the cutting. We don't do none of that. We just go to somebody's office and push in a time clock, sit there and perpetuate their bureaucracy. That's what we do to make money. To buy what? Some food, some wood, a house, whatever. Some coffee, whatever you want to buy. Some health care if you want to try to stay alive and stay healthy, whatever. That's what we do with our money. And we bored as shit. That bottom line, we bored as shit. Because what? We be at work 8 hours. See, back in the day, the early indigenous humans was up with the sun, and they went to bed when the sun went down. They was never bored. But us, we work 8 hours, and then we bored as shit. So we do what? We indulge. Whatever your fetish is or your vice you indulge, it could be as simple as a movie. And we give our money to this species that I'm talking about, the superior species. Get right back to it. So they know this about us. We don't know this about ourselves. See, I think that's what I'll do. Again, this is a study session, discussion session. So I'll talk about the species. That's what I need to do. Good morning. Hello. Hi, Mama. Can you predict foreign settlement using astrology? Foreign settlement? I don't know what foreign settlement is. Foreign settlement of who? Who's selling in foreign territory? I don't know. But I'm sure I could if I had the right information. Sure. Oh, don't do that. Child molested Muslim guitar player. That's not a good thing to be. Good afternoon. Okay, well, we're going to hide you. How do I get rid of you? Because you is special. You might need to get some help. You part of that species, huh? Uh, you need help. Mm. Uh, uh, I don't, I don't know what you doing. You just got a lot going on there. I have no idea what you doing, but you came to the wrong channel. I don't play like that. I'll punch you in your head. Um, you know about black women. I'm one of them black women. I'll punch you in your head. Get up off my channel with that foolishness. You don't know my channel with that foolishness. You don't know me. I'd have kept myself dignified here on this channel to the best of my ability. With a smile. Come here with that foolishness, and I'm having a hard time organizing my thoughts. See, the powers don't have a problem that I had. I got to refer you back to Henry Ford, and when he gave that banquet in honor of Thomas Edison, where there was 262 plus people sitting in that banquet hall, all supposed to be there to honor Thomas Jefferson, whatever Thomas Edison. But they weren't there for that. No, they were there because they all were over different subject matters. Me, I'm just sitting here trying to cover every subject matter at hand. What's his name? And I'm talking about Ford. Had at least 260 something people sitting in there, each covering an aspect of consciousness. 262 plus people covering various aspects, all relative, uh, of consciousness, all relative consciousness. 260 cells. All the information contained and categorized and held by multiple people. And I'm sitting up here trying to cover all this stuff. Where are we? We're not getting it. We are not getting it. It's like sick distractions. They say some people sick. I don't have time for that. Insanity, that sickness, perverseness. I'm not the one that play. I'm not the one that play. I'm real quiet, y'all. I'm a real quiet person. I'm the kind. Don't make me say nothing. Don't make me say nothing. I'm an Aquarius. If you follow me, you might already know that. And I'm real quiet. I'm real friendly. And I don't like being pushed. But that's what I experienced in my life because I'm so quiet. People want to push me to the extremity. I don't like that. I don't like that because I don't want to be pushed to that extremity because I have a whole ugly nature. I don't want to ever, I'm happy I did not end up in prison or dead when I was younger. I'm so thankful. Something kept me up. Something kept me up. And now I'm old now, and I ain't got no wind. I ain't got time. I don't know if y'all know what old people with no wind do. I ain't got time for it. Come here with that fool. Just take that ass somewhere else. I will deal with it. That don't make me act up. Don't make me act up. And so, predictive programming and all this ranting and unorganized information. What am I talking about? I'm talking about how what we deem predictive programming, I do believe, is predictive programming. And I have to say this from the perspective of prior studies that I've done and shared here on YouTube, is that the God of this world says, I command that the indigenous people of this planet, these humans, be informed about what's taking place every step of the way. However, we're going to tell them in part. Ha ha ha. I said, ha ha ha. Y'all think I be playing? That's what it said in that King James Version Bible when you really read it. And so the ruler of this planet, which I believe is a part of that superior species, ordained certain people or agents, ordained agents, to inform the people through different measures, including entertainment, which came to be entertainment. Um, so I know that stands, that's concrete to me. I know that is certain. But then talking about predictive programming is that I do believe this superior species has used, what is it called? They have used their complication. This superior species has a mode of operation. It's separate from humanity's. This superior species I speak about not only has their own mode of operation for their species, they have their own language for their species. They also have um, a medium mode of operation that bridges them to us. So these are the different aspects I'm trying to talk about at the same time, and I don't know how to organize them. And so, since the superior species has its mode of operation, theirs and only theirs, a part of their mode of operation is their agenda, their program to progress toward their agenda, fulfilling their agenda. After they use it for that, its primary purpose, then they use it for a secondary purpose. And that secondary purpose is that medium uh, mode of operation that connects them to us. Now they use it for us. And they use it in this various aspects of our life, example, media. And they create movies like Who is John Galt, as an example, and inform us as the God of this world or their superior leader has instructed them to do so. And so therefore we are receiving what we call predictive programming. It is just alerting humanity, the natives of this realm, the true humans, about what the next step is in the moving toward fulfilling the agenda. And that medium, a mode of operation that connects them with us, is a way that they make money to stay in line with the rules they've imposed upon us, or the indigenous entities, or indigenous being humans on this earth. That's how they make their money. To what? Stay ahead, or superior, or in control of the indigenous people of this realm. I don't even know how to make this make sense. So, yes, everything has been shown in various forms of, what is it called? Art. I guess it's forms of art, media, um, art, speech, language. Is all revealed to us that God, in that King James Version Bible, said uh, they will know. They will not be able to say they didn't know every step of the way. Every step of the way. It was something. Okay, so I talked about predictive programming the best way I could. Another thing I picked up, and I'm going to talk about, I know all this stuff seems like it doesn't go together. I know it's all jumbled up and confused, but it is what it is. I'm throwing it out here, helping to organize my thoughts. I want to talk about, what's her name? Sophia Stewart, who's supposed to be the true creator of the Terminator and the Matrix, but she had named it something else. Well, I ended up, over the last few weeks being directed toward her with all of this stuff I've been trying to talk about. And it's just amazing how the line The you know everything is linked together. I don't even know how to describe it. I really freaking don't. But anywho, as I remember I started this live stream talking about February of next year, and how the experts, the powers, maybe even the superior species will be withdrawing their contribution from humanity and or acting out, meaning they can't be trusted. I'm gonna have to come back to that. Prepare. I've also talked about predictive programming and like where it comes from and that it does exist. And I was trying to talk about in the contents in which it exists. And then following all these lines of thought that I've tried to talk about, I ended up with Sophia Stewart. And what I found about Sophia Stewart, I still don't know what this is. It's some type of like term that's popular propaganda surrounding her, and that's supposed to be lawsuit and everything. What I end up seeing, and I'm not clear why my research led me to her. I'm not even sure. Because I never know. Y'all, I tell you, I never know what I'm going to find out. And I'm going to show y'all. I often show y'all. I've torn the pages out. Some of these pages I done tore out. Oh, that's over there. But, you know, I got a couple. I got about 3 of these notebooks. And I can't. This one about empty, but it's another one. I'm gonna get up and show y'all why I'm so overwhelmed. I'm trying to keep better notes, but I'm trying to keep better notes, y'all, so y'all don't think I'm just on here. I'm not confused. It's just too much. Let's see. Let's just put this in order. And I'm trying to, do better. This is more notes than I ever had to do. All of these are completed. That's why I put them in a rubber band. I had to go back through this because that's other stuff mixed in it. But all of these, it's all the research. And this is just being, this pile here has just been over, I'm going to say the last 4 to 6 months. And I've talked about how when I study in a particular line of thought or a topic, it takes me on, it's this like line of thought, and then it branches. And so I'm a single person attempting to go down all of these, we call them rabbit holes on here, alone. And I'll be trying to take notes so that I can always go back. If a person wants references, I can give it to them. I doubt if I can. I'm still not successfully taking my notes in the right order. My notes that I take are also those from which I try to deliver a message. And it would take 2 separate type of notes, I think. 2 separate type of notes. And I don't stop. Why? Because it's real. It's not fake. It is real. I don't know how to say it no other way. So It's real. And I keep telling myself to stop and just focus on one thing. But from who I am in this world, it's no reason for me to focus on one rabbit hole or aspect because I'm not going into any given field. I don't plan to play a major role and to stick to it and be a what do you call it, an endorser. Oh, is this the month of an endorsement? I gotta look back at my endorser of any of it. I'm here for spiritual reasons, uh, and it seems to me, and I keep telling y'all this, I want to bail on this, but it seems it's a spiritual message, and I'm trying to find just a hardcore, flat out spiritual message. I'm gonna just give you an example what I'm holding out for. If I was to get a message that said, okay, indigenous people of the planet Earth, real live humans, uh, go to this cave in the Carolinas and go there and be there. That's what I want to find. That's just an crazy example. Because I do know it's a spiritual message. Something is attempting to get a message to what the indigenous people of this planet. Um, and I'm just one person trying to go through this whole, what do you call it, a heap of hay, looking for a needle in a haystack, looking for one little needle in a haystack, and it is overwhelming. There's certain things that I don't want to look at, but I'm compelled to look at. And the reason why I'm compelled to look at it because my primary checklist or progression of my studies is basically directed by the stars or my direct life and my experiences. And what I've noticed, and I've shared here on YouTube, is it seems to me that whatever my life as a unique individual lines up with the astrological messages. So, and it's been times that I've been, quite a few times that I'm like, I get on here and I give a message, and it's not from the stars or anything. I just tell you about my life and be ranting. But it lines up with the astrological energies. So it's like, even if I did not do these studies or in this decoding, that I would still be compelled to, um, you know, move to receive a revelation on any given subject matter that is it's time to receive a revelation on. I just be going about it in a more uh unclear way, not clear, you know. But with the astrological, I mean, yeah, with decoding the astrological alignments, it's clear to me exactly what the message is. I don't know if that makes sense to you or not. And so here I am. Another thing I want to talk about, y'all. I want to forget it's the stars. Let me see what y'all talking about. Da Vinci Code, like the Da Vinci Code. I just watched that a week or so ago. I watched that. Was I on not YouTube? What was I on? Netflix or something? I don't know. But I did. I watched that. I was like, I ain't got nothing to watch. Does feel that the Blue Bloods, has been successful in locking humanity. Yeah, that's what it seems like. And I've talked about how I believe the 5G. That's where I'm about to go now. Is to make sure that the human soul can't leave this realm. And I've heard people say that before. Because I tell you, I'm a YouTube junkie, so I'll be hearing the gossip, the hearsay, the propaganda, whatever it's called, just like most people do. And that's what it seems like to me. When I say seem like to me, I'm talking about all this research that I do. And you got to remember that my research, when I deliver the message, sounds so conspiratorial, but I'm dealing, remember, you can only remember if you've been riding away with me for quite a while, is that my initial research, and I say because it's still the case, it just doesn't sound like it by the time I get to creating the content, comes from the various social constructs of our world. So I'm dealing with hardcore reality, 3D reality. That's why I tell y'all, when I start going off world, I drop the pen, drop the mic, because I've been trying to stay within this realm to understand the dynamics of this realm and the various aspects of this realm. And so even these crazy conspiratorial weird messages I deliver, it is foundation is from the constructs. I literally study the constructs. You know, 11 core constructs. We talked about that. I haven't gone into any one of those 11 core constructs in detail. Why? Because I'm one person, you know. But I can go all up and just go into government constructs and talk about it. And I started to. Another research I did that I didn't share here. Why? Because if a person went to school K through 12, they should have this basic information. I'm all over the place. Basic information. If a person has gone through school K through 12, then they have the fundamental awareness about the structure of the government. And it depends on what region you live in or on which continent you live. That's why I've also talked about uh, the various cults and culture and the diversity in the world. And I talked about all the continents and stuff like that. So um, you can talk about a government. You have a fundamental understanding of the government and how it is structured and how it functions. Now, me as a person, just a person that has gone through school K through 12, I remember those days when we talked about the .gov and the Senate and the Republic and the Declaration of Independence. I remember that. But to tell you the truth, I didn't understand what I was learning during that time period. Yes, I heard the information. Yes, I regurgitated it. Yes, I was able to, again, regurgitate it and give it back to the teacher the way they taught it to me, but I didn't understand it. I didn't understand the significance of it, or um, I don't know what's the word. I just didn't get it. I didn't understand how important it was. I didn't know it governed my life. I didn't know it governed my mom's. I didn't know it governed the world, the world and the people of the world. I didn't know that. Just all kind. I didn't know that people were unrighteous at the time. Even a little kid, who knows that people are unrighteous. So yeah, a person could be a member of the Senate or the House of Representatives or the Electoral College, but if they have an agenda or they're unrighteous, that makes a difference. Those things I didn't know. I didn't know none of that. I didn't know that there was systematic racism and stuff like that. All that makes a difference in how, a person understands and comprehends what they're learning. And so why do I go talk about all that? I talk about it all because even right now, at this time, and this is another thing I've tried to do on my channel that has complicated me delivering messages and making content, is I want to go back down them rabbit holes. I want to jump down in a rabbit hole and go just in that sector of the .gov and talk about it all and break it all down. But I'm only one person. I can't. So what I do is when it comes to the .gov, I do access other creators to hear them talk about the House of Representatives, the Electoral College, the Constitution, and how the Constitution is not upheld. To hear people talk about how, oh, I forgot what it's called, but where African American people are considered a 1/5 of a human. So I have to lean upon others to understand that. It's the same concept of Henry Ford and them over 262 people. The difference is that Henry Ford, because of their level of professionalism and level of mastery, they could depend on each other. My concern is these people that I'm accessing, on these various social media platforms. I can't validate who they are. We have been socially engineered to be effed up, and so I have to lean upon my common sense, and my intuition to discern if a person is delivering a accurate and effective um, uh, message, you know. And then I oftentimes end up like, okay, I can't find somebody, or I'm not experiencing somebody that seems trustworthy. So I end up diving down that, or veering off on that new branch that's presented to me. Like when dealing with the .gov, what branches? Agriculture, housing, nuclear, you know what I'm saying? So I'm everywhere. So then when I come on here, I'm overwhelmed. Like I said, over the last 2 weeks, I've been trying to figure out how to organize um, a live stream that would allow me to talk about predictive programming. I couldn't do it because it's too much information. So I'm just on here spewing, hoping that you can catch some of what I'm talking about and literally understand it. Because all of this is real. Again, we all have been socially engineered to believe that this is all just, entertainment, or our imagination, or, and then it's the whole concept that we only live so long, and should we care? Oh, let me talk about some things. Okay, let me talk about some things. Another thing that I'm gonna read my chat, and then I'm gonna try to. I just want to jump and talk about what I'm thinking, because I'll forget. You say, "Wow, you're going in hard in those rabbit holes." Oh, I be down in them. Been down in them for years. I'm just a little nutty professor, nutty professor ish. You was born for this. I think I was born for this, but my life didn't back me. And I read my birth chart, and I've read my birth chart before. I read it over and over again, and I'm just an indigenous human on this planet, and all odds were stacked against me. Even in my birth chart, it's disheartening. Uh, Many are called and few are chosen. Yep. And I'm telling you, my birth chart suggests that I was built for this, but everybody would go against me, and that's been the case. Hate for my awareness, my knowledge, and uh, not wanting to partake in foolishness and buffoonery. Oh man, I'll tell you, motherfuckers didn't. I ain't make it. They have tried to kill me multiple times. Are you getting med beds and Nebuchadnezzar? I mean, I know the Nassar. I've heard it's this guy named B Miles. And so I sometimes visit B Miles. He talks about the uh, Nessaro, whatever it's called. And so the only thing I know about is what he's talking about. Um, but I don't truly get into it too much. He's an okay, creator. But I don't get into it too much because nothing of that I have, all the lines of thought I followed and researched for myself, nothing leads me to what I heard him talk about when it comes to the Nessera, whatever it's called. Nothing. Um, what is something that I could connect that to. And I've heard that there's some documentation and different things like that, and people talk about books and uh um but it's still nothing. And all that I done researched all down through the years, there's nothing I can connect that to. So I hear it, and I always tell y'all, don't ever disregard anything anybody says unless they just totally retarded. Then it'll be a waste of time. But even that, you gotta listen. They might say something just, a little snippet of something important. But you listen. And so, like, when I'm doing my research, like, I did it not too long ago. What was video I was doing? Oh, I was studying the astrological energies for December 30th of 2020, and I was talking about the witching hour. And that was the first time ever in my own studies that I end up, coming across information from the real physical world. It sounds, I'm sure, conspiratorial when I deliver the messages, but I'm doing real live studies. I know if I go in science, I'm dealing with science. I'm dealing with the elements and natural resources. That's the part y'all don't see. I come here and try to deliver a message that's more entertaining, more digestible. But if I'm dealing with like chemistry, I'm not a chemistry, but I'm dealing with chemistry and chemical, the formulas. So if I'm dealing with alchemy, alchemy, I'm dealing with chemistry, I'm dealing with the formulas. That's what I'm doing behind the scenes. If I'm dealing with philosophy, then I'm dealing with all the philosophers down through time, whether it's Plato, Socrates, whoever, what's the name, Carl Jung, whatever. I'm dealing with all of them. That's behind the scenes. That's the part y'all don't know. You know what I'm saying? If I'm dealing with natural resources, then I'm out over at the if I'm dealing with natural resources, then I'm over dealing with the Wall Street, the stock exchange. That's where I be at, stock exchange, and studying the market and different stuff like that. Again, that's stuff y'all don't know. If I'm dealing with health, okay, well, I said don't nobody want to hear no health messages from a person, but I'm dealing with study. I'm reading medical journals and different things like that. Hell, I go to the doctor and ask the doctor some questions. They think I'm crazy. I am. I'm hilarious. I just tickle myself. So that's the extent of, what time is it? Okay, that's the extent of my studies and research. But by the time it get to y'all don't know. Y'all don't know that. Y'all like, she's silly, goofy, or whatever, however you perceive me. But you probably don't get the concept or the idea that I'm doing that real physical, worldly research and investigation. That's probably not what you get. And the reason why I do it like that, because I remember being in school, I was talking about the .gov, and they talking about this stuff, and I didn't understand. What are you talking about? You like here on YouTube, it became a term that became popular was construct. And I hear people, I said, why aren't they? And one day I was like, do people understand what they say when they say construct? So I'm construct. How many people understand what people are saying, meaning when they say the term construct? So I was like, let me make some videos and make sure that people understand what a social construct is. Then, when I was doing my research of the stars, and it brought up and started talking about humanity. And I got to narrow down humanity now, because astrological energies are really pointing out that there is an indigenous. I hear indigenous all the time, and it seems like it's connected to racism and this social diversity that exists, and social supremacy in the world. Based on my studies now, the indigenous that are being referred to in astrological messages and in the whole concept of the world and our experience are indigenous humans. So that plays back into all the times that I've talked about the spirits that cohabitate inside. I've been led most recently to look at famous people birth charts to see what is within them, the soul that is within them. And I'm realizing all of us here in these physical sleeves are not humans. A human soul, how can I say this? The indigenous humans of this earth have um, qualities, or qualities, and it's the quality of the soul, and what that soul is capable of, you know experiencing and comprehending and manifesting, where these other beings, there are multiple beings in this realm, are, I've just labeled, the superior species. This is superior species physically does not look like us, and that which dwells within them is not the same as what dwells within the indigenous human. This superior species also takes on and wears a physical vessel, so we all look alike. Even the gods, and these various entities, more superior entities, take on a physical vessel, so we can't tell who's who. You will only know what you're dealing with by their works, by their works. Once again, by their knowing a person by their works is a old a term, a quote. You'll know a person. You only know a person by their work. Old quote. All of these old quotes literally came from somewhere. If you've been right on my channel, you hear me say quotes sometimes, and it's because I end up running into, doing my research, that which is actual in our physical worldly experience, that prompt somebody at some point in time in the history of humanity to make that quote. They saw it for themselves and they made that quote. And then later on, we just say the quote and we don't know where it comes from. But in my research, I've been finding the source of why a person came up with the quote. I don't know if I made that make sense or not. Hell, I talk so much I don't forget. But I'm just here trying to, again, organize my thoughts. This is a live study session. Not the kind where I'm reading and writing. It's the kind of mentally processing, categorizing, cataloging, different things like that. Totally says, I feel so solo in my knowledge. That's why I love your authentic being. Thank you so much. And so you feel me just kind of being along, riding away. It's like a quantum financial reset. Yep, it's a quantum financial reset. That whole quantum thing, when I say my life has been quite interesting, I have done a little bit on quantum from the perspective of quantum computing or seeing parallel possibilities. That's how I have looked at quantum, uh, the concept of quantum. But there are other ways to look at quantum. But yeah, the quantum financial reset and seeing it's like if we kept the exact same financial structure, that decision and that move would mean uh, a certain or set of sequence of events would occur as a direct result. If we were to choose, just hypothetically, to go back and, I don't know, use a denarius, which was used in the past, if we made that choice, or the powers made that choice, then that would determine another set of unique experiences that would occur as a direct result of the powers choosing to, uh, use the denarius again. And then it's the Bitcoin. Well, we choose Bitcoin and we begin to use that, make that our primary, not Bitcoin, but cryptocurrency. Then as a direct result of that, there are very unique experiences that will happen as a direct result of us using Bitcoin. At this current time, we're using various means of uh, for the and economic methods, financial methods. I can't remember. I'm just clear what I'm saying. In order to acquire what we need in this world to sustain our lives, we're using cryptocurrency. We're using our fiat. We're also using natural resources. As a direct result of using like all of three of those, there are very unique circumstances and situations and happenings that will occur as a direct result of choosing to use those three uh, means of uh, resource distribution, I guess I could say. And it's those fine, intricate details, those various parallel possibilities that is considered quantum. When you start running all that, computing all of that information, that's the quantum. That's going into the quantum realm. And that's the best way I can explain. But the quantum, we can use quantum in other areas as well. You are very smart. Thank you. A lot of people say that. I don't think I'm smart. I think I'm very curious. I can tell you do real research. I try, it's just too much. And then it's this life, having to live this dumbass, excuse me, life. It's just like, what the fudge? Know a person by their works is in the Bible. Know the Bible. I knew I heard that somewhere. No, but it's there because of, again, it plays back into um what actually animates the physical vessel, the physical sleeve. Again, all of this stuff is crazy, and I don't know. I really have been sitting here, and I've been sitting for a while, trying to understand why I continue to do what I do. Because I was doing this before YouTube. It just was not going anywhere. I didn't have anybody to share it with. Why did I do it then? Now I'm here on YouTube. Why do I continue to do it? I got more people now. I got people now I can talk to. I'm not talking to myself. But why do I continue to do it if I cannot find that answer? And I think, and it's just me thinking, trying to answer that question, is that which has an interest in the well-being of true indigenous humans is compelling people, not just me, they're people, probably an undefined number, probably in all type of, races, cultures, creeds, compelling them to look for the answer or a way to really um convey to other their other species, they're like species, the other indigenous humans, what needs to take place. And like me, I'm having I'm facing all these complications. But let's say hypothetically, case scenario, it's 7.8 plus billion people in the world. I don't know how many people have been ordered to look, compelled to look, like I have. Who's going to come up with the answer? Who knows, But it almost seems to me, because this is the only thing that makes sense, that there is a percentage of the world's population that has been compelled. And I believe that more because I told y'all about my experience March 6th of 2016, in which the Creator had, me and many others in the world come together in this collective prayer to break the strongholds. And so, in retrospect, those people that were called to that collective prayer may also be the same people that are compelled to, you know, research, however they research. Uh, I think it's all very unique. Again, it doesn't matter about a person's race, culture, creed, sexual orientation. None of that matters. It's about getting this answer, and I don't know what it is. And I remember a long time ago, I made a video called Now or Later, playing off the candy, Now or Later. And I was talking about time. Time. King James Version Bible, or the concept of God this quote kind of sums it up. God time is not our time. It's something like this: one of our days is 1,000 days to God. And so when I did that video, Now or Later, I was trying to deal with time. Hypothetical case scenario: if those superior species lifespan is longer than ours, then they're not on the same time as ourselves. And it is that aspect, or that dynamic, is another complication in rallying the indigenous humans of this world, because we are perceiving. Remember, I said the powers are using our perception, um, our perspective, and our perception against us. I get that. But it's hard to get humans, real live humans, to even consider anything that doesn't have to do with their now and their need for immediate gratification. Can't even fathom 1,000 years. Can't even fathom that your seed, your DNA, will incarnate into this physical realm, however this physical realm looks, in 1,000 years. So let's see. Let's say hypothetically, if we lived reasonably, we're talking about 1,000 years being 10 100s. So that's 10 of my grandkids, 10 generations of my grandkids, each living about 100 years old. And 100 years later, the 10th generation of my seed incarnates into this realm. How do I get that message from here down through those, 10 generations to that grandkid to the 10th power? You know what I'm saying? How do I do that? It's still my seed. And we can't do that. But these powers, or this superior species, has the capability to do so because they live that much more longer. And not only do they possibly that they live that much longer, it's just their intellectual capacity is so superior to human beings that they, just in their makeup, they understand the significance of being able to follow through with the plan that was, or the awareness that was taught to them by earlier generations or their ancestors. That, now I'm making that make sense. These are the kind of hurdles that humanity is dealing with. And then again, over another thing that humanity is dealing with is that we don't take anything serious, especially if it cannot be delivered effortlessly. And I'm not delivering this message effortlessly, so people won't take it serious. Then it's the conspiratorial energy. People won't take it seriously. And then it's us as humans. We are you know susceptible to our desires, and our fulfilling our desires and urges are so important to us that we can't see past that. So we have a lot of hurdles as humans, which is interesting. And so I end up wondering why. I keep saying this. I don't know if I'm making it make sense. Why is it something that's compelling me? And I know it's not just me. It's other people. Why? Because of the content people make here on YouTube, I can tell. It's other people that are aware that there's something trying to be, inform us about something, like we can do something for ourselves. But we is having a hard time getting it. I don't know if it's not enough of us that are awakened. Like, I can't get a, what do you call it, a group or a posse like Henry Ford had to brainstorm. He had over 262 people present at one banquet to brainstorm on something, and that something probably was whatever dynamics were relative to that Great Depression of the 1930s. Remember, it was in days of that crash, so they were all brainstorming here. They were coming there to celebrate that they were prepared for that. I can't do that, and for different reasons. Again, I don't fit the social norm. Whether it's by look, popularity, etc., etc. Going back, talking about my own birth chart, it says that my intelligence is a little above normal, and that my awareness and comprehension is heightened or enhanced. But then there's everybody hates me for that and will go against me. It was already foretold. So why torture me? Why torture me? Uh, I don't understand. And again, oh, this is what I want to say. Okay, before I forget, let me read my chat. Don't forget, Nancy. Don't forget two things. Hi, Pam. How you doing? Good day. I'm glad you're here. Keep up the great work. Thank you, Pam. Hope all is well. Now, I want to talk about something that I've noticed. This was last week sometime. I told you I stay up all night long. I watch the sky, always have. So last week, I'm laying in my bed, and I just happened to look up at the sky. Cause I haven't been able to sleep. I just started forcing myself to sleep over the last 2 days. And I got up 4 o'clock. I got 4 o'clock this morning, 4:30 yesterday. The other nights I'm up at 2 o'clock in the middle of the night, like, I ain't go to God dang sleep. Mad as all get out. So anyway, last week I'm up probably 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. And I look up and I was like, what the hell is that? What is that? So I get dressed and I go outside. I'm just standing outside like a crazy person, looking up. And when I say there are so many, I don't know, spacecrafts out in the, sky, up in the sky, in the heavens, they're everywhere. And I'd have talked about them before, but it was a little different this time. In times past, I'd have talked about seeing these, what I say spacecraft. I don't know what it is. These spacecrafts are lights, space lights, and they were in like I don't know. It used to be a game when I was in middle school where there are dots. It was draw the dots to enclose the lines. Dots everywhere, like a grid, but just the dots for the corners of the grid up in the sky. And this was years ago, and I talked about it here on YouTube. And I talked about how I could see something moving along the lines, like literally locked in. Like we had to trace the lines going from one dot to another. I'm like, okay, weird. I done talked about a lot of different things when it comes to the sky. Even most recently, I talked about how I watched one of these light crafts up in the sky all night long, and I watched it when the sun started coming up, how it moved over and rotated like from the eastern sky to the more, what's that, southeastern sky, and then elevated up and ascended up so far that it was still out there during the day, but it was up so high that nobody could see it. Okay, last week I go outside, I'm looking up. Now, that one spaceship or craft of lights, whatever it is, space station that I saw rotate from the eastern sky to the southeastern sky and ascend up so high that in the daylight nobody would see it or pay attention. It's like a little dot. I had to literally watch it. As the sun come up, I'm watching it and seeing like synchronized with the clock or synchronized with the sun coming up. So that by the time the sun came up, it would be up so high people couldn't see it, would never notice it. So I watched that whole process. So that same craft, like that, when I went out last week, when I say they were everywhere in the sky, I mean everywhere. And they were what? In that grid, like I said, the dotted. But now either they didn't came closer than they were when I seen them in times past, in them years past. They didn't came closer. Because I can see them now. I can see the multiple lights on them. It was like, right, I was like, what is going on? Either, I don't know what it is. I don't know. I'm telling y'all what I thought it was at first. Was the 5G setup. The grid. Could be. Maybe the grid, once they got the grid, maybe it closed up around the earth. And I'm trying to make, originally it just looked like a light or a very bright, what we would perceive as a star. Very bright, pulsating everywhere in a grid form. This time, they're like closer so I can see it's not just one light. It's not just one light. It is, I don't know how to, I'm going to draw a picture one day. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try to draw a picture. That's what I'm going to do. I'm trying to think of something. But you can see it. You can see each one of them. And they're out there. So it could be this 5G grid that I did see in my research was going to be set up. And now all the space stations are in place. Because remember, 5G, based on my research, is supposed to be activated, all set up in April of last year, April 2020. However, as big as these things are, I don't know if the space station, the grid, the link, linking the 5G up. I was like, shit, them is spaceships. And I tell you, I'm not a space person. I ain't been abducted. I talked about my mama being abducted. I tell y'all that all the time. Yo, them is mother-sucking spaceships. Them things are so big. I mean, they could be the space station with the 5G, because I don't know what's with, but they gonna be spaceships sitting up there. I don't know what they are. They're still in that gridded pattern. Still the great pattern, but they closer. I assume they closer because they're bigger. And now you can see. Go outside on a clear night. I'm like, I don't know what's going on. But I started thinking about spaceships because, again, they're bigger. But I also think, I was like, they had us locked up for a whole year. You know, limiting our mobility. I said, and then all of this stuff is out here. I said, but they said that the 5G was going to be up and established April 2020 last year. But that was the first time I have seen so many of them all over the sky. I've told you I've seen one in the eastern sky, one in the little southeastern sky. I've seen one in the east sky, and then over here, that's the west, so that's southwest. So there was like one in each direction. Now it's the whole grid. It's a whole grid of them things up there, whatever it is. And so again, I don't know if it was hovering spaceships or again the 5G net then like came down around the earth and is there all at one time. I don't know. Y'all take a look. Let me know. And then there was another thing I wanted to talk about on here. What was the other thing? God dang. See, that's why I be trying to talk about stuff when I remember it because I forget. I can't remember. I can't. What was it? We talked about the grid. Tried to talk about the predictive programming. That grid. Dang. What was it? What was it? What was it? Oh. Oh. Yeah. I do realize that an upgrade over the last week. I've also realized that, and I've talked about it, that an upgrade has to occur to the native species of this planet, which are real humans, has to occur. And I've been talking about it, but that has really been coming up over the last week. I'm trying to think of this other, trying to see if I can find the notes. This stuff everywhere. Oh, yeah. This is it. This is it. I don't know how successfully I'm going to deliver this either. You said, yes, thousands of light. They like light ships or something. Yeah, you must have seen them. Maria, Gina, Maria, Covan, YouTube channel shows videos of them. Oh, I got to go see this person. Where my pen at? Yeah, because I'm like, my camera, my kids talk about me, said I need to get a iPhone or something. I'm not paying that kind of money. I live in the ghetto. I'm not paying no $1,000 for no damn phone. Don't make me start cussing. But is that the name of her channel? Her name? So I really want to go there and see that because I live in a. All this is freaky to me. Is nobody in my immediate environment that has the same interests as I do. I'm telling you, I think I told y'all here. One night I saw something in the sky. I think that's when I seen it. Yeah, that was the same night I seen that thing over in the eastern sky and it rotated over to southeast and then descended. I literally let my bedroom window up and was hanging out the window like. And just I stayed out hanging out the window. It was winter, cold, hanging out the window for hours. And my neighbor pulled up and just stopped and looked. They was like, "What's going on?" I said, "Now tell me this. Do you see this?" And I'm pointing. They act like they couldn't see. And they saw it, but it didn't. It didn't shock them. Like, oh, okay, it's a star. No, that's not a star. Look, But I don't know. I was like, I know what I see. I don't see that great, but I know what I see when I do see what I see. I know what I see. I don't know. So, another thing I wanted to point out was this time period that we're in and that we're going through has us quarantined and all that, right? A lot of people believe that it's the end of the .gov and our currency is a currency reset and all that. And there, of course, is true to some extent. is more of a revision or like reset. In the last 3 or 4 days, as I tried to figure out how to segment and deliver the stuff, messages on the stuff I'm talking about now, I came across the empire. Uh-oh, set myself on fire. The empire, which also goes into biblical scripture when it talks about it talks about Jesus being offered the various kingdoms of the world. Same thing. And I don't know, there's a difference between the empire and the kingdoms of the world. The kingdoms of the world are the various social constructs. The empire is that which the social constructs or the kingdoms of the world uh, work together to facilitate the development and sustainability of the empire. So most of what we've been talking about on my channel, and it seems like other channels, have been about the various kingdoms of the world or the various social constructs. But we haven't talked about the empire. Now, biblically, paralleling it to biblical texts, the empire is either the empire of what? Satan, which is hell, or the empire of God, which is heaven, the empire. So, what I'm saying, in this physical world, we get lost based on terms. And I'm going to say, if I speak to a person and use religious terms such as heaven and hell, then I'll lose a portion of the population, right? If I use any other, what they call it, parallel terms to heaven or hell, I'll lose a particular population. Nobody can hear the whole story put together because we fall off when we hear stuff that we don't resonate with or we don't believe in, like a religion or whatever. Okay. There is an empire being established. How did this go? This empire that has been being established has been being established over what they call it, astrological ages. We're talking about eons of time. We're currently going through a transition. It's not the first transition that has taken place over the eons of time to establish the ruling empire. The empire is still up under construction after thousands and thousands of years. What we have experienced in the history of humanity that we can see or refer to are the various revisions to the social constructs or the kingdoms that are used collectively to facilitate the establishment and the sustainability of this empire that's under development. So understand what I'm saying. At this point in time, the empire is something that we're not looking at. We're looking at the kingdoms or the social constructs, the breakdown of the .gov and the reorganization of these various social constructs, these things we call social constructs, which are actually the kingdoms of the world. That's what's under revision. That's what's being impacted and affected by the Plutonian energy and astrology, not the kingdom. I mean the empire. We are not looking at the empire. And I say that because I want to talk about time. I started talking about time a few minutes ago. Our time is not the same as God's time. Our time is not the same time as these superior, the superior species time. Lifetime is different. Working on different timelines. The empire. The empire, I discovered over the last 3 days, is due to be completed in, is it 2,200? Let me see. It's due to be completed in 2122. 2122. The year of what? 2122. Who cares? Do you care about what will exist in this realm in the year 2122? Do you? Without, my background, I wouldn't care. I'm sure the majority of the indigenous humans on this planet don't care, don't even think at all about the year of 2122. And most likely, you really don't either. But the powers, though, that superior species, they do. Or the God of this realm does. And are working steadfast and consistently toward the finalization of this empire that's already been under construction for thousands and thousands of years. The date that it's supposed to be done, a year, is 2122. Let me see if I can make this make sense. This story, we know biblically, and it started with the life of Christ. I don't know how I'm going to do this. I'll lose a percentage of the population because talking about religion, it doesn't resonate with some folks, so they fall off. So they never hear the whole story. Anywho, the construction of this empire starts prior to the life of Christ. It starts right after the life of Christ. Let me try to say. Now, if you have any knowledge associated with Christian Bible, it lets us know that Christ is supposed to have lived 33 years. So if we are at the date right now of 2021 AD, that's 2021 years after the death of Christ. So 2021 years ago was 0, the date that Christ supposed to have died. But we know that before Christ died, he lived 33 years. So we go back another 33 years in the timeline of the history of humanity. I'll say this. So from the time Christ popped out his mom's womb and came into this world into now, I think it's 2050 something years, 2054 years. Let me see if I can clarify. Now let me talk about Christ and the life of Christ. The biblical story about Christ tells us about a person, I think it was a state of consciousness, that came into this ram, 2054 years ago. And it warned the people of the time about this empire that was scheduled to be constructed in this world and to rule this world or this realm. And it told the people of the time, as well as and told them to make sure you hand this information down to your descendants, that if this empire comes into being, you, the people, will be ruled in a particular way. And there's going to be changes to you physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. That's what Jesus' whole time, 33 years, was about. And it talks about the losses. I'm talking about the ministry of Christ throughout his life. Talks about the losses the indigenous humans would suffer as a direct result of the coming of this empire and the development of it. It also talked about how the people or the Christians could fight against this empire. By age 33, Jesus, Christ consciousness was destroyed. But it was told, hey, hand this information down to your descendants so they can always keep an eye on this empire coming. Keep it under control. For if you don't, certain things are going to happen. And so I don't want to go into detail about it. Again, I can't go down every single rabbit hole and go into the Bible literally and talk about the life of Christ. I could, but that's another long video. So ride the wave for me and pretend like you know. So 33 years in, Christ is killed. We killed. And that's 0 on a timeline. At the point of 0 is when the construction of this empire literally begins. So since the 0 mark, we are 2021 years into the development of the empire. I'm not talking about the various social constructs that were established along the way in order to help facilitate the construction and sustaining the empire. I'm not talking about that. The kingdoms of this world or the social constructs is all we've ever focused on, even to today. That's all we're looking at. But we're never paying attention to the empire that's coming. And where there's an empire, there's an emperor. Again, paralleling it to the Bible, it's heaven. And Christ is the king of heaven or hell. And the Satan as the prince of hell. That's biblical. Now, we can go through every single culture if we had time, but we don't. And we could find something that parallels to it. Any way you want to do it, So we're just going to deal with this emperor here. An emperor coming. An empire is here. And it's not fully established, but it's being built. And not only that, there's an emperor that rules over the empire. Okay. I do this. We don't know about the empire. And this empire still has, I've been posing questions like, why am I getting all these messages? Why are people like myself compelled to do all this research and find all these clues and interpret the code and the stars or the information from whatever means we're getting it from and being right? Being right, step by step. As I say, if we don't have time to make a change, that would be beneficial to people, humanity. Come to find out, based on my research over the last 3 days, we still have 101 years. We have 101 years before the empire is fully established and sovereign. 101 years. So, as of yesterday, happy belated birthday to me. As of yesterday, I turned 51. So, I'm more than half of 100 years. We can live up to 100 years if we take care of ourselves. What else I bring that up for? Remember, when it comes to an indigenous human being in this world, it is said that we can live up to, if we're in optimal health, up until 120 years. More reasonably, people live up to be 100 years old. So we're talking about like babies that are born today. There are some, that will live to be 100 years old, and they will be here when the empire is fully established and sovereign. With that in mind, I pose the question again. Do you care about what manifests in this realm 100 years from now? Hmm? Most of us would say no. But if it's possible that your child just born today or your grandchild will be here 101 years from now in the midst of this empire that we don't talk about what it is. All we talk about is the social constructs that what facilitate the development of the empire. Is that story of Christ that it talks about the empire. Again, paralleling it to the Bible, it talk about heaven or hell, and the ruler, the emperor. So what am I saying? I'm saying your baby, whether it's your physical baby or your grandbaby or your great grandbaby, can be here when hell manifests here on this earth, the empire of hell. It doesn't look like it's going to be heaven. I'm telling you that. Because based on the teachings of Christ, we have done nothing collectively that offsets or debilitates the development of that empire. Am I making that make sense? That's deep. Anywho, just letting you know, we have 101 years to get busy and stop the coming of hell. That's the empire I'm choosing based on, my filters. Hell, ruled by Satan, the emperor Satan. That's my filter. That's not the filter that you have to use. But so we can talk about, remember I talk about consciousness and how consciousness, I mean, consciousness is this awareness about, how to say, that ends up manifesting in reality. And if I'm saying the empire that is being constructed and will be sovereign and have a emperor it is in 101 years from now is hell. Let's think about everything hell, embodies. Everything. We're talking about fire and brimstone. Not literally. But we're talking about a people that exist during that time period that will not be able to satisfy their physical, worldly wants, needs, and or desires. They too will be indigenous humans, our descendants, that manifest or are born in this physical world then, or live during that time period. That's to say they won't have the food that they need to sustain their life. Because remember, we talk about the prerequisites of life. You got to be able to breathe and exhale. You got to be able to eat and drink. You got to be able to urinate and defecate and all them kind of things. Inhale, exhale, all those kind of things, sleeping away. They won't be able to do none of that with ease. It's going to be a consistent, unending, unyielding struggle for them if we don't do something now. I am trying every day to figure out what we can do. And the best thing I can come up with goes right back into Christianity. It is love thy neighbor. But I think the complication we have here, and this is why it's going to be a blockage to social media and shut down eventually, is because the only real move though I see is we got to physically move on these powers. I'm not talking about no race war. I'm talking about one example. And this is going to start glitching my video. So this will be about the 16th glitch. But that's okay because I'm going to get up off here. But I'm talking about when we look at, example, politicians that promote and endorse legislation or bills that are against the well-being of humanity. It's not no question if their bill is against the well-being of humanity or not, we got to move on. That's the only thing I see. I'm gonna try to clarify what I mean. Hypothetical case scenario. If a bill comes up to my in the .gov that says, I don't know. I mean, we need. Let's talk about eat and drink. If they say, like, I'm gonna give you I'm gonna go back in time, because it's so many layers to this. Back in time. Soon as they move to say, hey, the only way you can access water is if you pay for it. Well, we know that if you are an indigenous human being to this planet, meaning you're a part of the self-contained ecosystem to this planet, you don't have no choice but to partake in the activity of drinking water, or you will die. You will die from dehydration. So it's no way in hell and high water, or hell and low water, that you're supposed to have to, if you can access and drink water, depend on if you can successfully navigate the man-made social constructs to earn enough money to buy water to drink. It's no way. So once that kind of ruling came up, or rule came up, whoever put it on the document, you got to remove them. Because you know they're not human. You know they're not. That's the only, I'm telling y'all, all the research I done did, that seems to be the only thing that is the answer. To hold those that sit in seats of power, hold them responsible for the works that they do. If they display works that aren't coherent, I think is a word, with the well-being of the human species, the true indigenous beings of this planet, got to get rid of them. Because what? They are not human. That's the only way I see that we can stop the social constructs, the kingdoms of this world, from facilitating the development of this empire that, I'm telling y'all, will be complete and fully sovereign in 101 years. But what we do, we are acting powerless. I'm talking about the people of the world, the population, acting powerless. Every single day, we're hearing about new laws and regulations and policies being put in place. We're not voting for them. We find out about them after the fact, after the people in power and hold these various offices, after they put them in place. And then we find out about them by the time when we're being punished by them or something, or limited by them, or restricted by them. Who told them to put it in place? Who told them? I live in Michigan, Flint, Michigan, having that contaminated water. Whoever facilitated that and thus far has done nothing about it, they need to be removed, never be able to be put in office again, and they need to be in prison in El Campo. And then there are people, real humans, that have the qualities of a human being. Qualities of a human being are people or entities or beings that care and are empathetic. That's part of our character. You know what I'm saying? That is not a character of these other species that coexist here in this physical world and wear, human sleeves. Remember, you'll know them by their work. And if you pay attention, most of these people that sit in these various seats of power, their works show us that they're not human. They don't have the same characteristics or character traits as humans do. Not at all. And so I know people are scared to say it. And we might as well start saying it now, because media about to shut us down soon, as very soon. I haven't fully said it yet, but I know based on what I have been seeing, it is totally suggesting that this social media, they're not just going to be, they started by shadow banning us and stuff and doing that. No, they're going to shut us completely off where we can't communicate with each other. So first things first, we need to start really being judgmental. I did a video several years ago talking about me being judgmental. I also did another video or live stream where I said I can't see my own faults, where I moved to be judgmental. We have been taught, at least I have in the course of my lifetime, don't be judgmental of people. It's like you're being self-righteous, but you have to be judgmental. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. If you do not judge the people and their character and their behavior and their activities, then you are willing to engage them, interact with them, and you end up following them to hell because you can't rationalize that a person is a hypocrite, a liar, or deceitful, or whatever. In order to protect yourself, you gotta pass judgment. It don't mean you gotta be cruel, but it means when you pass judgment, that when you pass judgment, the tarot card judgment, it doesn't say that. How do I say this? When you pass judgment against something or someone, it doesn't mean that you have ill will toward them. It just means you understand who or what they are and what they bring into your life. And from that moment, you deal with them as such. There is no change. There is no variation in how you deal with them. Let me give you an example. If you know a person is a rapist, you know, you judge them. You say, well, they're a rapist because what? They raped somebody. But they didn't go to jail for whatever reason. But they're rapists. You know it. Everybody know it. But you don't say nothing. Like, I ain't gonna say that they're rapists. So you'll have them around your kids and everything else. They be ones face painting at the kids' party. I ain't gonna. And so you open up and you lead the children around you to be easily accessed by this hypothetical rapist, right? Because you didn't want to pass judgment. But if you know doggone well that this hypothetical person has raped somebody, then you say, okay, this mother sucker raped somebody. They did it. We know they did it. And you will be dealt with as such. Somehow, hypothetical rapist, you got away with it. You didn't go to jail. You didn't catch a record. That's okay. That's fine. Because I know what you did. That point blank. It's the facts. It's the truth. So you will be dealt with as such. Okay, well, you won't be invited to the kids' party. You will not be left unattended with a kid. You won't be asked to come pick them up from from school, etc., etc. And that's a judgment, and you'll never, ever change, how you interact with this person. You might not going to be cruel to them. They could be a real cool person. They might be a person that make you laugh. Oh, lift your spirits up, whatever. But it never changes the fact, that our hypothetical person is a rapist of children or a pedophile. Never changes. We can laugh, but I know who you are. And I ain't got to be cruel. I ain't got to call you out. I ain't got to do nothing. But you'll never be left alone with a child. That kind of thing. That's judgment. And so my whole point is we've been led to think that judgment is something so cruel or is something so wrong with it. Period. Period. I'm going to tell you, people judge every day, but act like they ain't judging. I'm fat. So when people see me, they immediately judge me. Boom. She fat. She overeats. She had no control. Da, 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 da. They judge. But when they judge, see, this is the difference. So when a person judges like I'm trying to convey here, they say, to me, you fat. Motherfucker, like I didn't know. Okay, that's judgmental. It's been judgmental. Or, you overeat everything. You eat, I don't know, just assuming you eat pork, you eat this, you do that, you don't walk, you don't that type of judgment. Thank you for the birthday wish. So that's being judgmental. But yet, it is not, how can I say, I'm trying to convey something. It is not a judgment that's helping them interact with me. And under that particular example, they're being judgmental to try to belittle me or make themselves superior. Now, if they were to judge me righteously, I'll say, they can say in their minds, she's fat, she's obese. This is just an example. They personally, like if ever in my company, would witness, I'll say what I consume. And let's say that they witness that I consume pork. They would say, well, I know that I cannot go eat with her. Or I know that I can't go eat dinner at her home. Or I know that it really doesn't make much sense for me to invite her, this particular person, over to my home for dinner because I'm a vegan. You know, it doesn't make, that's the type of judgment. But yet that person has never opened their mouth to me to say anything. Not to say or point out that I'm obese or fat, because they already know I know that. They haven't said anything about what they presume that I eat or they witness me eat. They haven't said anything like that. But for themselves, they judge me getting based on what they understand about me and how it doesn't relate to them. So they know how to deal with me. Does that make sense? Make sense? So what am I talking about right here before I end this live stream? I'm talking about how judgment is important. And I think that I do believe, I don't think I know, I'm an Aquarius, I know, that we must begin to judge and judge righteously. Don't let nobody tell you judging and judgment is unrighteous. That's how you do it. So, what am I saying? At this point in time, we got another 101 years before this empire is complete and fully sovereign. And the actual emperor sits on his throne to rule. In that time period, I think one of the first things that we have to do is we have to judge those that especially sit in seats of power. We have to. And we have to judge them based on their works, because we'll know them by their works. Once we know them by their works, we have to deal with them as such. Period. You won't be elected. You won't hold seats of power anymore. You won't make any more determinations at all. You will be ostracized in your own world and live your life as you deem fit. But you will not have the power to influence the life experience of the indigenous people of this world. You won't. And we're going to have to be very, very harsh and, very harsh and exact and always staying active. Because we're talking about every aspect of our physical experience. There exists an unrighteous person or unrighteous being in a physical human sleeve that needs to be removed, unearthed, unthrown. Got to get rid of them. Pay attention. If you pay attention like I do, it seems like every single week, I'm going to wake up one day. Every single day of the week, I wake up and there is a new rule, regulation, or policy that I find out about. Not because it's being put on a ballot or a docket or whatever. No, it's already been passed. And now it's being imposed upon the people. And every single time, it is suppressing the people. Every single time. It's not helping the people. It's suppressing the people. And I'm not referring to what's actually happening now, like they helping people with the stimulus. We know that ain't been enough. But I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about these various rules, regulations, and policies, everything. Like, I ain't being funny. When all of this pandemic stuff has started, they was imposed immediately. I mean, come on now. Just freeze everything. By people not working, was no way they was going to pay their rent. Freeze everything. Don't nobody pay nothing. Don't nobody do shit. All you going to do is you going to get this money, this stimulus we're going to send you, so much per person to every household in the country. Because money ain't real anyway. We use money as a means to determine how the natural resources will be distributed amongst the people of the world. It is an unbiased, unrighteous, unbalanced method and means to distribute the natural resources of the world. So it's not real, is what I'm saying. So they could have just stopped everything. Don't pay a mortgage. Mortgage company, don't expect it. Don't worry about it. Mortgage company, you ain't getting nothing. Ain't no interest being accumulated nowhere from nobody and no banks, ain't nothing being paid. I don't care how you get paid. We have essential workers. Y'all continue to go to work. We'll have a little special something for y'all because y'all taking all these risks with your life, and we need you to keep going. But the rest of y'all, you sit at home. We're gonna send you this allotment every single month so you can go buy you some food, because that is what one of the mandatory. These are one of the requirements that you must meet in order to stay in this world, in this realm. So you will have enough to eat with. Don't worry about it. You're going to have a roof over your head. Don't worry about it. You know, but that's not what they did. It was far from it. Again, so we know these people or these entities by their work. They didn't do works that saw to the well-being of the indigenous people of this planet. And I'm not, when I say indigenous, I'm not talking about Indians or Africans. I'm talking about indigenous species of this planet, which are humans. Now, everybody on this planet is a human, and they don't belong here. For some reason, they do not belong here. They are not from here, or something like that, because we are a part of this self-contained ecosystem. Every single human. And there are requirements that is evident in how we have to meet very specific requirements to exist in this realm. And an example of those requirements are eating and drinking, sleeping and awake. You have to. You have to. And it's this age limitation that we accomplish. And it's the frailty of our bodies if we don't know the rules of this realm and apply them. I'm guilty. I didn't know the rules. When I started smoking cigarettes, I didn't know the rules. You know what I'm saying? It's rules to this realm. It's rules to make it, having this body be in its highest quality for the extended amount of time. Maximum, they say, 1 to 20 years. Most of us didn't know that. And again, the system is what? Set up by people in their beings in their work that don't have the best interests of the indigenous people of this planet, you know, survival. So yeah, we got bad foods and everything. I'm gonna give you another example, then I'm gonna let y'all go because I'll be running my mouth. Is when all this pandemic stuff started, and there was a diminishment in the work. What do they call it? Works employment. How the farmers were, I believe, told by the .gov to leave all those fruits and vegetables out there and let them rot rather than giving them out for free. Now, who does that? And in which rank? Who gave those commandments? We know they're not human. We need to find out who that person is or them people are, and we need to get rid of their ass. Because they are the ones, they are example of the ones that's helping to facilitate the coming of this empire. That's what is going on. Okay, y'all. I done ran my mouth and tried to organize my thoughts to the best of my ability. And so I'm going to read my last little chats and I'm going to get on up off of here. Y'all have a wonderful day and stay safe. What you say here? Okay. Nicholas Venamine channel on Beshoot. He interviews people like you. I think he would love you. I wonder, could I possibly do an interview or just even collab? Because I'll be all over the place. They probably like, what's she talking about now? Where's she going? But thank you. I will look them up too. No, I'm just trying to get through this month. See, just trying to get through this month. Me too. And happy birthday to me. Happy birthday to me. 51 years old. Who knew? If we reincarnate, then we will be here in 100 years. And if we reincarnate, we will be here in 100 years. And I think it's going to be a hot mess. I think it's going to be a hot mess. I really do. I ain't got time. I ain't got time for my consciousness, like in the movies, to be captured in no AI, artificial intelligence, synthetica, clone, nothing. I ain't got time for it. And my thing is, like, talking about that, the whole thing about capturing the human consciousness into a synthetic or an AI or a clone or whatever it is, you know, robot, whatever. I wonder where that is in the stars, because it would be in the stars somewhere. It's a message in the stars somewhere about it. And I don't know if I should go back in time because I can't do everything, or should I go forward in time? Back in time or forward in time? I don't know. Like for instance, all of that those fires that happened in um Hawaii, they already knew about. So any loss to human, indigenous humans life or property was intentional, because I even, it takes time, but at that time I talked about it. And that was a time period I wasn't quite sure how astrological message were set up, but I see now the pattern. So I got this now. I see the pattern. And back then I did a video called Colossal Spiritual Being, two parts. Colossal Spiritual Being. Other videos I didn't get a lot of views on, but I talked about it. I said, hey, I think I was it called Planet Watchers? I think it was the website I had access was called, no, this is Planet Watchers. I can't think of the name of that one. Something Skies. Anywho, whatever the site had access to look at the uh, astrological alignments, the way it was set up, I could see that there was movement and fire, but I wasn't comprehending what I was seeing fully. Like, what is this fire and this movement going on underneath the ocean floor, or whatever it is, what ocean floor? I said between Easter Island and it was called Kilauea, Easter Island and Kilauea. And I said reported in that video, in that series, about some upcoming earthquake or volcano, and it would take place over there between Easter Island and Kilauea, maybe in Hawaii or something. And sure enough, it took 2 years, about a year and a half, 2 years before the fire started. And so I'm getting it, y'all. I really am getting. I see that I'm growing. I'm growing. I was saying that for something. I forgot. That how the powers know. Like even that the Hurricane Katrina stuff. I haven't researched or went and looked at any astrological alignments. Prior to, probably within, because that was in a year and a half. This one here, what was I just? 1 year. 1 year. What am I talking about? What I'm trying to get more. I'm trying to become an expert at what I do. I don't want to lie. I don't want to misinform. I want to reduce human error in the messages, or in my decoding of the stars. So when I pass the messages along to you, ladies and gentlemen, they'll be as accurate as I'm able to do. And so I'm trying to, like when I did the one about the volcanoes and the movement under the waters between Easter Island and Kilauea, I said, I don't know how long it's going to be. I said, I'm saying within 5 years. But it was within a year, a year and a half, something like that. And then it was something else that I did. And I was like, I'll say, I don't know how to tell y'all the time. I know. It was before all of this happened, and I was doing when I was really feeling myself and angry for not being backed here on YouTube, and I'm doing all the work, and I had an attitude, and I was saying, y'all, and and I was talking about how I said, hey, y'all, an event is about to occur that is, we're going to have an experience that's equal to or even greater than the Great Depression of the 1930s. And I talked about that in detail and parallel what was to come and what was, which happened during the 1930s. And that was a year before. So what I'm getting is the messages that I receive in the stars at any given time forewarns us a year ahead of time. That's what I'm getting. And I say that based on my new findings. What I started this last stream with was talking about next year, February 2021. I mean 2022. 2022. I done talked about in this last stream 2020, 2021, 2022. I done talked about even 2050, and then what's the other one? 21, 22. So yeah, that's why I'm getting confused, y'all. But right now, I'm talking about 1 year from today, in the year of 2022. It is the time period that these experts or the powers or even the superior species will begin to withdraw their contribution to the sustainment and enhancement of humanity. Uh, and they'll do so, of course, in different ways. Most times, everything is covert. So you're being warned ahead of time. Most of it's covert. Um, the covert means and measures. How does that look in reality? And then also, I told you I believe that we won't be able to trust these people that are experts in various fields. You know them by their work. Know them by their work. And right now, I'm going to say it right here for the record. Y'all listen to me. Y'all my witnesses. I've testified that I've had a hernia rupture. I've had it repaired twice. In that 6-hour video where I referred you to, I talked about the surgeon that did the surgery on me and how I woke up from an anesthesia too early, and her and the nurse, or her talking to the nurse or another staff member about me and my fat black ass starting trouble. You have to go watch that video to hear the whole testimony. Anywho, the reason why I'm bringing it back up for the record, I think the hernia is rupturing again for the 3rd time. And I'm scared to go under the knife because they'll know they're going to send me right back to her. So if I have to go, I'm going to let y'all know. I have to go back. And if I have to go under that same doctor, I'm going to tell y'all. I'm going to tell her name. I'm telling everything. So if I die, everybody got to go. I get that. But if I die under her watch and under her hand, y'all know why. She already didn't like me. And she did cuss and fuss. And I should have filed a complaint, official complaint. But I was too messed up at that time to do so. But y'all know. So this is my first mention today, right here. What's the day? February 7th at about, what, 11 o'clock in the afternoon? 11 o'clock in the morning. I'm telling you, if I had to go back under that doctor and I died, she did it. She did it. All right. Hi, Divine Takes. Hi, GD. How you doing? And thank you very much. And I had a wonderful birthday. Thank you for sharing your knowledge and understanding. Happy Earth Day. Thank you very much. Looking forward to your next show. Me too. I have no idea what it's going to be. But I had a really nice birthday. I got some gifts all over here. I'm going to say something. I'm making myself transparent. I have, now that I'm 50, well, started about 48, I get little hairs under here. Like I'm becoming a man. It's embarrassing. But I'm making myself transparent. So my daughter, who's into beauty, I call her. I say her name Ruby. I said Ruby, and so she was like Ruby. Must be the way I say it. She come running with the tweezers. She said, "I got you, mama." She make me a woman again. Love her. But she most recently moved out. So for my birthday, she come in yesterday with this bag. And in the bag is this electric razor. I could do it myself. So I'm like, I'm getting the hair under my chin. Lord Jesus. The hair is not growing up here no more. It's growing under my chin. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. All right. It's all right. And so she gave me this whole bag of healthcare and beauty products and things. I got outfits and money and stuff. And so everybody asked me, did I, want to sip? I didn't want to sip. I'm turned off, y'all. I am so turned off to drinking. And I've always been one that loved to sip. Matter of fact, I might give me a sip today, though. I might do it today. But I've just been turned off because I'm seeing people fall, literally fall due to alcoholism. I don't ever, Lord, please. The cigarettes is enough. I don't ever want to be addicted to nothing. I mean, and so it's just a turn off. It's a shame that I So I can't enjoy some of the things of the earth because I see other people just abuse them. And I don't understand, and neither do I want to understand. I have to say that because whatever out here would say, oh, Nancy, you don't understand, let me show you. I had it happen. I don't want to know that, but they fall and get so addicted. I can't. I don't want it. I don't want it. So yesterday for my birthday, I didn't want to sip. Because my daughter's like, Mama, you want you some Remy? I don't want I don't want nothing. Leave me alone. Then they asked me did I want to go to the casino. No, I don't want to go to the casino. The COVID out there, I just can't see myself losing no money. I didn't want to go to casino, and I realized, and I've said this before here on YouTube. I'm just happy. I'm happy to be at home. I love. It ain't the best, but I love my house. I love my little. I'm like Fred Sanford. This is my castle. I love home. I love home. It's perfect. I made it, and I'm happy here. I feel so happy at home, and I always have. Even when I was younger, I did not like going over people's house, spending the night over their house. I didn't like it. I don't know what you got going on, and I don't want none of it. And so I can say for my birthday, I was really, really happy. I had my comfortable moo on. You know, I done talked about the moo dresses. That's the old lady dresses. And I had my little Indian braids with my weave placked up. And I got on here and ordered Comcast got Infinity. What channel did I order? Cinemax. I ordered Cinemax. I don't think I had Cinemax. And I found, oh, yeah. Dang, 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 dang. Okay, real quick. And then I got to go. I got to go make me some coffee, get a drink, do something. Day is ticking on. What time is it? Okay. I got 5 minutes. So I ordered this Cinemax on Netflix. And I found the program. The name of the program is called Outcast. Outcast. And I kept falling asleep, but it was really good. I think it's about a man that had been possessed or plagued with demons when he was a boy. He grew up with it. And people in his town getting possessed, and he the only one that know good. It was good. But I said, oh, when I started telling y'all I had ordered Cinemax for myself and sat back, had what I wanted to eat, and watched my Cinemax and just enjoyed myself, had warm feet and all. Just love it. Ooh. Life can be good sometimes. Anywho, but what was it? Come on, Nancy, so get up off here. What movie? Something else that played into me wanting to talk about predictive programming, all that mess I did, was I watched, where was I at? What was I doing? Oh, God, come on. What is it? Go back in time, Nancy. I was watching, like, oh, my God. It talks about everything. Oh, my God. What have I been watching? NBC. 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 Hold on, y'all. I got to look this up. NBC. Is it NBC? Oh, what is it doing? Okay, NBC. The Event. The Event. Did I already talk about this? NBC. Anyway, somehow, some way, I have no idea. Oh, yes, I do. I know. One day, I heard somebody talking about the event. Again, here on YouTube. Or something. Maybe it was an old video. Anyway, I just typed in Google the event. That's what y'all just heard. Okay, I remembered. Okay, I got it. I typed in the event, and Google brought up this series called The Event. And so I went through and I binge watched the whole season. And the event was so crazy. Y'all gotta go watch it. But I was like, that's predictive programming too. I said, I'm gonna really talk about this because I had kept seeing it like, okay, I was seeing it in everything. Like, and I've been talking about it since I had my channel. I was like, we know it's everywhere, it's everywhere, it's everywhere. And that movie, The Event, God dang it if I can't remember, talked about this species that existed, and they supposed to have existed here on Earth before, current humans, Homo sapiens. Is it Homo sapiens, sapiens? Which one are we? I forget. And so they existed, and they were more advanced species, look human, but they had the same frailties as us, and It's just that they were more intellectually superior and more technologically advanced, meaning they could transport themselves. You know, they had the means to transport themselves. They know how to reverse or like stall the death process and reverse it, and these kind of things. But where they were in the universe was their sun was supernova, and so they were on their way here. So the whole storyline surrounds that theme of them needing to come back into this particular area of space for their survival. And so it was just everything. I was like, this predictive programming again, because a lot of what they covered in over the course of this series were things that I've talked about on my channel. And I was like, we all know they showing it in everything. It's not nothing that the truth is not being depicted in. Nothing. Even the most horrific horror films is still, you know, it's entertainment here in this physical realm based on our consciousness. But the reality is the horror is real. It just doesn't exist in this realm. You know, so we all know the truth about everything but what we think is entertainment. This thing we think is entertainment. That's the problem. Well, anyway, y'all, I'm going to come back another time because I done ran my mouth about 3 hours. And it's time for me to get out here and make something happen for myself. Like, give me something to sip on. Or something like that. Until next time, y'all. Bye.